Hi, my name is Tabitha Miller. I am going to go over standards and operations. I watched a video. It was K661 called Finding the Main Idea of a Text in Small Groups. So I saw evidence or lack of evidence in certain standards. Standard 2, teachers establish respectful environment for diverse population of students. In STAMP 3 minutes and 36 seconds, the teacher in the video demonstrated the North Carolina Professional Teaching Standard 2 by asking one of the students what they were going to say when the student was hesitant. And this showed that the teacher valued what the student had to say and built a relationship with the student and made them feel like they were able to answer. And then at STAMP 7 minutes and 24 seconds, the teacher also showed North Carolina Professional Teaching Standard 2 by giving high expectations for all individuals. And the teacher explains the main idea, assignment, and instructs the students to read and to find it. He says that to one student, you have a job, now show it to me. And this showed that the student had expectations and he needed to do his work. At timestamp 8 minutes and 39 seconds, it shows that evidence of not using the NC Professional Teaching Standard 2 effectively. The teacher shares with students how another group said they were going to take them down, resulting in the students shouting across the room, "Yeah, you wish." The teacher established a negative environment that was disrespectful and non-supportive. And evidence for timestamp 12 minutes 37 seconds, the teacher in the video did not conduct NC Professional Teaching Standards where he called out to Xavier. He was like, "I need you to participate." He said, "I'd love it if you jump in here a little bit." But then he gave the student no time to answer or participate before calling on another student. This did not show a positive or nurturing environment. And going to Standard 3, I have evidence in the video at timestamp 34 seconds. The teacher in the video lacked evidence demonstrating the NC Professional Teaching Standard 3 by not providing literacy instructions. The teacher approached one of the small groups of only 2 students, and his demeanor changed. He was very enthusiastic with the other groups, but when he went over here, he was straightforward, to the point, telling them to write the main idea down. However, he did not give any direction, and he walked away. Well, he should have shown more responsibility in these 2 students and their learning by fair treatment and enthusiasm as he did with the other groups. Timestamp 3 minutes 45 seconds, the teacher demonstrated the NC Professional Teaching Standard 3 by providing life skills and people skills to the subject. The teacher was trying to get the students to find and understand the main idea. He asked 4 students in the group, if Guy walked up, what are you going to say? And the students responded, "Hi, I'm Guy. Nice to meet you." And the teacher gave a handshake to the student and proceeded to tell him, "Hey, give a little harder handshake for confidence." And then he asked, "What's the point? What's your point, Guy?" And this made the instruction finding the main idea relevant and fun. And in timestamp 7 minutes 51, the teacher demonstrated the NC Professional Teaching Standard 3 by instructing relevance to students. He moved to another group, was very verbal with his reaction. "Wow!" He said, and it was clear to the group, showed leadership, accountability, productivity, and self-direction while collaborating in their assignment. And evidence for at 9 minutes and 35 seconds, Standard 3 was conducted in small groups to read, collaborate, and find the main idea, and this was to prep them for the debate. This not only motivated the students, but it also worked on listening and speaking skills, which supports the relevant to many literacy skills. And timestamp evidence for standard 4. At 41 seconds, the teacher in the video demonstrated North Carolina professional teaching standard by reminding one group about the task. The teacher is allowing the students to work in teams, and the teacher is helping students develop critical thinking skills. Evidence 2, at 1 minute 34 seconds, the teacher shows the NC Professional Teaching Standard 4 by teaching students leadership skills through collaboration groups, communication, and interacting with different cultures and backgrounds. Teacher was asking one group questions as to how they got their answers. This encouraged them to think, use knowledge, and draw conclusions which are part of the problem-solving skills. Timestamp 3. At 2 minutes and 18 seconds, the teacher demonstrated North Carolina Professional Teaching Standard 4 through using different strategies for learning to take place. It is clear that the teacher knew the intellectual level of students in this group because he spent more time with them. He also used differentiation with their lesson when he used a whiteboard and wrote down their answers as he was giving probing questions, and he also used guided practice with specific group. Timestamp evidence 4, at time 11:21, teacher conducted the North Carolina Professional Teaching Standard 4 by formative assessment. The teacher asked questions to one of the groups, and one of the students answered, and then the teacher complimented by saying, "You're nailing this, Angelica," and then he writes down notes from his evaluation on the clipboard for her specific involvement. Now it asks here, what suggestions would I have for this teacher? So I would like to first say I would have liked to have seen more involvement with all the students participating. In the small groups, the teacher needs to encourage all to participate in the discussion. And in the timestamp 12:37, the teacher called on Xavier to participate, but he didn't give him that opportunity to participate before calling on the next student. And I also noticed that the teacher gave feedback only to those that were answering. So according to Burden and Bird 2019, it's imperative that the teacher provides feedback to each student. He can do this by having peers in the group give feedback or criterion reference feedback, but this will allow the student to know that if they're meeting or missing the standards, and that's on page 182 of Burden and Bird. And in the small groups, we're supposed to engage all students in learning. However, I noticed that a couple of the students were not participating, and so I suggest using the peer tutoring because there's many advantages according to Johnson and Houellebecq in 2009, as cited in Burden and Bird 2019. This will allow students to become leaders in teaching others. It also helps individual student to develop friendships, and they may help them in responding better to another student, and it gives slower learners more one-on-one attention. Page 201. So overall, I honestly thought that the teacher did a great job with the classroom management. And my references are Burden and Paul R. and Bird David M. 2019 Methods for Effective Teaching, Meeting the Needs of All Students, 8th edition, Pearson. And then the strategies that I observed that I would use in my classroom. So from the very beginning of the video, the students are all in small groups, stamp 34, 935, and the teacher in the video used a peer-assisted method through social instructional approach by having students work together to process and learn their findings on the main idea. And the teacher was asking probing questions and Socratic method, and the students answered like his questions were why and how did you get that? And this was a way for them to think and clarify their answers. Burden and Bird 2019. I learned so much from this semester, and my biggest takeaway are planning methods, classroom management, and those were my weakest areas in teaching, and I feel that I have the tools to incorporate them better in my classroom. And I also learned that it is important to find the time to collaborate with your team at school as well, which is the other teachers or administration. And this will better equip in helping our students be successful. Thank you.